Hey, what's up everyone, Blades for here, and today for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video, guys, we're going to be going over the next 4 characters that Global is going to get here. One of them already being on Global being Haru, and we're going to see if they're worth summoning for or not worth it. So if you guys are interested in this, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out a lot. My voice is getting a lot better, so thank you guys for all the best wishes, and we're going to get straight into it. Now, the one thing I have to say for a lot of you guys, this is subjective. This is more of an opinion. It's more of me giving a opinion that I think a lot of you guys would like to hear if you're wanting to just like get the most out of your teams. Now, granted, we play this game for fun, so pull whoever you like at the end of the day, enjoy whoever you like. I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot me, please. But we're gonna see exactly how this works here. So Haru recently released on the global end here, and the one thing I have to say for everybody who's pulled is, holy god, is she good. She's already been crazy good, especially on TW here, and she sticks up with the goats, especially when it does come down to the AoE damagers. But the main place where she lacks is usually in content, seeing we don't get that much side related content. Good part about Haru is, with her being the only side DPS, it made her pretty much a must pull for a lot of people on global, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it does come down to who the summon's for, that's where things get a little bit crazy. Lucky for us, Haru is the only AoE DPS that's going to be happening in the next 3 patches on global end, so she's not really a hard decision if you want to go ahead and pull or not to. If you didn't pull, that's perfectly fine. If you did pull, you're actually in a good spot because you don't have to pull for another AoE DPS for quite a long time. In fact, after just the 4 characters that we're going over in today's video, the next AoE DPS is probably not coming out until like 3.5, and on the off chance of Noir here, for us on TW, that was 2.3.3. So the 3.0 goes all the way up to 3.5, and there's obviously like 3.0.1, 3.0.2, and so on and so forth. So you guys should have a couple banners in between to really prepare, especially when it does come down to the AoE DPSs. So on the off chance you pulled for Haru, right? You already know what you summoned for. You got yourself a really good DPS. What's the next thing that you would pull alongside of Haru? Well, out of the 4 characters that we're going over today, one of them being Runa or being Howler, the next one being Mont FS, and then another one being Kasumi, the next character that you would most likely go ahead and summon for is a single target related character. The reason being is because now you have a really good AoE DPS, and to be honest, having Haru or having Howler on a Haru related team isn't going to be worth it. The next debuffer that we do need, especially that's good for Haru, is going to be Matoi. So Howler is going to be mainly a null and void, especially for our Haru related team. So in all honesty, the next thing that you will want to pull on your account, especially if you're looking for progression, is going to be a single target related character. Well, the next single target character that is in line is going to be Mont, and the one right after is going to be Kasumi. So you can actually choose between either one of these characters, both of which being good. Mont really excelling at having double typing, so you can either use her for wind related content or ice related content. Although we don't really use her for ice all too much, she still covers 2 typing. While Kasumi over here only covers 1 typing, being the single target bless, and being our first single target bless DPS inside of the game, she does deal a whopping amount of damage. So if it was up to me, especially as a Haru player, I would go for the Kasumi pick here, seeing that Howler is not going to help out, of course, your account whatsoever, unless you truly are investing into Mont FS, or unless you want a versatile single target debuffer or AoE debuffer. Other than that, you would probably skip her. And then Mont FS is just, although she covers 2 typings, she's going to deal a lot less damage than Kasumi. So if you're a Haru enjoyer out there, the next best pick, especially for your pulls, is going to be Kasumi. But once again, this is a good old recommendation. You don't have to follow this at the end of the day. Now, for my people who are in the single target category, and let's say your primary aspect is going for Mont FS, well, you have a couple decisions to make. If you are primarily pulling for this character here, there is definitely one thing that you got to know. This character is going to be very, very picky. You're going to need her 5-star weapon to get the best out of her whole kit. And then 2, she needs to be built in tip-top shape. So her team is pretty much the same way. With this in mind, though, she does need a certain character, and that character is going to be Howler. Now, Howler, and the reason that she needs this character is going to be shown on the screen in a second from lafel.net, and that's because this character is excelling in just debuffs, not only AoE debuffs, but a single target debuff that enhances follow-ups. Yeah, this character is a little bit of interesting, especially an interesting debuffer here, and we can actually see it. By using her skill 1 into the skill 3, that's mainly your AoE related type of debuffs here, and you're going to get more of like the fire damage debuffs and defense decreases from this. But if you take a look at her second skill, which is Intimidate Baddie here, this one decreases defense, and then when you use the third skill accordingly, this one is more of a follow-up damage increase, damage taken increase, which is really going to help you out for Mont enjoyers. With this in mind here, you're definitely going to want to pull for Howler, seeing that her whole deal is follow-ups. So on the off chance that you pulled for her, the next update after, you're going to have to get Howler. But this also kind of null and voids Kasumi to an extent, because if you're pulling for one single target character already who's actually pretty darn good, you probably don't want to pull for the other unless you just really enjoy the character. But this also brings up another problem. Seeing that you're going to need to have yourself Howler here to really take advantage over that follow-up damage, well, that means you're going to be summoning 3 banners in a row. So it does put you in a little bit of a problem for your gem deficit here. So surely do keep that in mind. If you want to summon on 3 banners back to back, well, then that's going to be crazy. But I mean, hey, it's technically going to be 4 because right after Kasumi is going to be Rico. So I mean, like, you're going to have to make a huge choice, especially if you're a Mont enjoyer, because the next banners after are not easy to skip. Unless you're just skipping Kasumi, I mean, you're not going to have any time to really breathe. Now for my Howler enjoyers here, you have actually a lot of room to play with here. Mainly because you're pulling for a debuffer, this is something that's going to be utterly used. So I mean, like, you can pull her if you just genuinely like her. You can pull her if you just want a person who's versatile in both AoE debuffing or single target debuffing. Either way is going to be good for you, and she can honestly work with past characters besides the 4 that I'm mentioning, such as like Joker, because at the same time it's still an AoE debuffer, so you're still getting a lot out of it. Or if you truly do need a lovely character that actually deals some damage with, like as closer, but you want to use a debuffer, it works because debuffers can pretty much go with anyone. The good part about her is she is very versatile. So I mean, like, being able to be both an AoE debuffer and a single target debuffer kind of puts you ahead of the game for both future updates and in your past reruns as well. So if you're a person who's primarily going for a Howler, then that's good for you. You really don't have any priorities for the characters that are around you. Just do keep in mind, if you have pulled for Mount Figure Skater, you are going to be pulling for these guys back to back. Good part about Howler though is she doesn't need her 5-star weapon, so some of those 5-star related like weapon currencies can actually go to pulling other characters. So I mean, you kind of are in a good place. There's not much to say about this character other than she's just really good for both sides. So I mean, hey, that's good for you guys. Just keep in mind, she's a standard character. She will be in the game 6 months after. Then our last one that I want to talk about today is Kasumi. Kasumi is one of the few characters that's a hard one to pick from. If you decide to go for Haru, it actually gives you a little bit of time, because then that means you can skip Mont Figure Skater as well as you can skip Howler. Howler is not really in the Kasumi team, and the few times that she was in there, it was due to just this small little follow-up damage that she had, but it's honestly not necessary if you want to keep it in that standpoint here. To be honest, Howler is skippable for Kasumi. You don't need her in the team. You actually have several different teams you can actually use. So on my screen, you're able to see them in a few seconds here. But for most characters that you have to invest in, especially for Violet, you really could just go ahead and use Cord. There's already characters that we've gotten like Leon, Marion, and then of course the upcoming character being Winvast. All these characters are ones that are pretty much just going to be already prior, so you already have her team either done and you've already committed to getting this character, or either it's going to be future characters such as Winvast, which is right after her, which everyone should be summoning for anyways. So you're not really going to be in too much of a problem if you skip the other 2 characters. Plus, if you ended up going for Haru, either way, that's just a whole month of you saving. So I mean, like, you should have enough gems to go ahead and get this character and maybe her weapon as well. The only downside about this character that I do have to say is the banner right after. If you don't get that character, which is going to be Winvast, she's going to be lacking in the crit damage department. Though she still does a ton of damage, seeing that the character has a colossal damage move and is one of the few characters in this game that can crit on our highlight. So if you're able to go ahead and get this character and just be able to just vibe out, I think you're going to be in a good little setting here. Though I will say, if you decided to summon on Mont Figure Skater or on Howler, you're putting yourself a little bit more so in a gym deficit, which is going to be kind of hard for you guys. Heck, even if you skipped Haru as well, just to keep preparing for Kasumi, it wouldn't even be a bad choice. I just would say if you went for Haru, you're definitely in a good spot still, because now you have a good AoE DPS and a good single target DPS. There's not really a downside with Kasumi, so I mean, like, it's always nice to have her, especially if you're a person looking into the future. But with that all out of the way here, this is all I really want to go over as a TLDR here. If you are a lovely person who went for Haru, you honestly don't have to summon for the Mont Figure Skater or obviously Howler, because then for the strongest single target DPS, you could easily go for Kasumi. If you wanted to summon on Mont Figure Skater, it is back to back, so I mean, that's up to you, but it's not mandatory. All those characters in between are technically skippable to Kasumi, or even skippable until Winvax, but still a nice character. TLDR for obviously our Mont Figure Skater here. If you pulled for her, you do need to know that you're going to end up pulling for Howler and might have a problem with pulling for Kasumi. Reason being is because Kasumi and her are pretty much the best DPSs at that point in time here. So either you're going to be competing for best DPS with Kasumi, or either you're just going to be competing with gym deficit here. So if you end up pulling for her and Howler, it's going to be very hard for you to get Violet right after. So do at least keep that in mind. Then we have our other TLDR for Howler. Pretty much pull whoever you want. It doesn't really matter. You are a debuffer, so anything just revolves around you. And then lastly, as I already said about Kasumi here, if you went for Haru, you're perfectly fine. You got a best AoE DPS. And then if you go for Kasumi, you have a best single target DPS. There isn't really a bad thing in between with this one. Just be sure to get Winvax afterwards. That's going to help you out a lot inside of damage. For me, I will just straight up tell you guys my plan, and that is I'm going to be skipping Haru. I'm skipping Mont Figure Skater, as well as I'm pulling for Howler, and then I'm skipping Violet. But that's just because I'm preparing for the support galore that we're going to get. But thank you guys for watching the video. Until next time, peace out.